The sirens cut through twilight, red and blue lights flashing out over the gravel driveway of my Willow Creek spread. I was on the porch, boots planted firmly in place, my German Shepherd Ranger growling softly at my elbow. Across the fence line, Diane had stood phone at, her ear voice cutting sharply into the Arizona air. 911. Yes, I need police now. There's a man huddled squatting on property. My daughter should have. He's making trouble and wouldn't leave. Diane's eyes locked on mine through the screen door, her designer sunglasses glinting with malice. Squatter me. The man who'd possessed this 60-acre ranch for 15 years had inherited from my uncle, a rugged rancher who taught me the value of land in perseverance. Her daughter Elise, a 28-year-old who couldn't tell a here from a hay bale, so it appeared apparently had visions to work my land. I gripped my fist, the word squatter smoldering in my stomach. Diane had just made war, and she had no concept the storm she'd released. It all began 3 months ago when I retired early and settled full-time to Willow Creek, a tranquil piece of heaven just outside Tucson. The ranch was my retreat, wrap-around porch, vegetable garden, a couple of barns I was fixing up. My closest neighbor was a half-mile away, and that's the way I liked it. Then Diane and Elise approached, and the statue collapsed. I noticed Elise invading my private fish pond. When I politely asked her to leave, Diane stormed down the road accusing me of being unably. I showed her the property markers, but she brushed them off, brandishing an HOA card like a sheriff's badge. We'll need to discuss your compliance, she sneered. I told her my land was not within the HOA uncle had jumped out decades ago. Her eyes squeezed closed. That'll change, she said, cold as a rattlesnake. I thought she'd withdraw. I was mistaken. Diane's grievances came weekly. My barn an eyesore, my rooster too loud, my gravel dust brought on her allergies. Then I caught Elise in my barn saying she was exploring. That's when I put in cameras, front gate, pastures, barns, garden everywhere. Smartest thing I ever did, because Diane wasn't bluffing when she called 911 that evening, demanding I be evacuated. She really believed she could take my property for Elise's dream. When the sheriff patrol vehicle came, I thought it would get resolved immediately. I had transferred my title deed tax forms and HOA exemption forms. The deputy grinned, but Diane screamed at the fence. Don't be deceived by him. That ranch is ours. My daughter's a veteran. A lie. Elise had never been in the service. Then in a flash, Elise charged at the deputy with her fist connecting with his radio. He'd got her cuffed and into the cruiser. In a blink, Diane wailed, pounding on the window, but the damage was done. The following day, a letter slipped under my gate from the HOA, a notice of inquiry regarding my land's boundaries, warning of fines or emergency intervention. I shook my head, saying, they're insane. I strode to the county records office where Mr. Larson, a clerk who remembered my uncle, confirmed my exemption. The HOA can't touch you, said I had certified copies of all things ready to fight. Then my old friend Sarah, a reporter locally, wrote me. She'd watched Diane's rants on a local app and wanted to tell my story. We showed my documents, limits, even Diane's HOA badge she'd left on my porch at a midnight visit, caught on camera. Sarah shook her head. This woman's dangerous. I nodded. But she's intelligent. She plays the victim when the law will not compromise. 2 days following Sarah's on-air interview, neighbors sent apologies. Diane said you were trespassing. We should have approached you, but Diane dug in with an HOA announcement. Urgent action required against a menacing squatter. My daughter will oversee a sustainable housing project on his land. She added a doctored photo of Elise dressed for business madness. Then the harassment escalated. Tire marks damaged my garden. My irrigation was slashed. A cow strayed off via an open gate. I took the sheriff to see my footage, but warned him they're pushing to rezone your land. If they get their way, you will have to sell, then upping the ante. She rolled up with a 20-foot U-Haul visor on, brandishing a folder. You've got till Sunday to vacate, she bellowed. Ely is moving in. I laughed, pointing at my camera. Enjoy your last 2 nights, she snarled. That night at 2:13 a.m., my alarms went off. Floodlights lit up the yard like a stadium. The camera showed Elise crawling by the barn holding a pipe wrench, digging in the water system. I hit the panic button wired to the sheriff squad. Cars screeched up. Elise stumbled into a trough, wet and screaming. I was checking the plumbing. The deputy wasn't being serious. Diane ran out in her nightrobe claiming it was urgent maintenance. They took Elise to question. By morning, there had been a notice posted on my land. Future vision of Elise's green village. I took it down, but a county notice sent shivers down my spine. A petition to exercise eminent domain and take my land for community rezoning. Diane was playing the long game, and she wasn't going to give up. Sarah aired another segment on her show, including Diane's U-Haul scam and barn vandalism. It went viral, anti-HOA groups shared it, and messages flooded in, "Fight back." A retired lawyer, Ellen, offered to help for free. "This is about precedent," she said. She filed complaints and drew up a lawsuit against the HOA, but Diane struck again. Dead chickens, 27 of them, piled in my yard. The sheriff found feathers and bloody gloves in Elisa's garage. Then my house was broken into. The kitchen was trashed. "Get out," carved into my dining table. Worst Ranger was tied up in the shed, whimpering. I called the sheriff. "This is felony trespass, breaking and entering. Perhaps animal abuse," they said. Sarah's second story, with video of Ranger, shattered the internet. Animal rights organizations fumed, and the sheriff was under pressure. Diane became America's HOA villain. 3 nights after Diane pounded on my gate at 11 p.m., brandishing an envelope. "Take this offer and sell?" She spat. I wouldn't take it. She hurled it and yelled. Ellen warned me. Diane had sought a claim for emotional injury, claiming Ranger administered her. Laughable but dangerous. Then at an HOA meeting, Diane announced Elisa's run for president, threatening to annex my land. Neighbors gasped. I saw the live stream. Horrified, Ellen called, "She can't do it legally, but she'll make your life miserable." I went on the offense, gathering neighbors' accounts of Diane's bullying. I created an online folder, The Truth About Willow Creek HOA, with videos, documents, and testimonies. It got 3,000 views in 48 hours, but Diane lashed back. "Someone set fire to the hay in my barn. The sprinklers saved it, but the tape ignited Elise with a gas can. Attempted arson," the deputy charged. Then Diane lashed back with flyers, labeled me a violent squatter with an attack dog. She tacked them on trees. I sent it all to Ellen and the sheriff within 48 hours. A restraining order kept Diane and Elise off my property. Elise was arrested for arson. Diane organized a rally yelling about reclaiming our land. Sarah's team overheard her saying, "He's a lone drifter living in the past." The quote was shared widely, and HOA members distanced themselves. A board member, Clara, brought me a pie and whispered, "We're voting her out." But Diane's last move was sinister, a county notice to condemn my land. Ellen calmed me. "We'll fight with signatures, media, and lawsuits." A neighbor, Tom, exposed Diane offered bribes to lie about me attacking Elise. A misleading affidavit was submitted claiming I was violent early this morning. Sirens woke me up. Deputies delivered at land freeze. Order citing false claims. I was digging unapproved trenches. That night, Sarah texted me to look at the HOA live stream. Diane stood by a podium banner behind her annex, Willow Creek. She announced she and Elise would build a model home on my property. Once the squatters had taken it away from me, I lost it when I spotted a bulldozer parked in front of my gate. A note taped to it. "Coming soon, Elise's estate." I outraged the HOA meeting. Clara gave me the microphone. I informed them of my Uncle Diane's deception. The arson rangers' adventured neighbors stood sharing their own accounts. Diane shrieked, but people walked away. Then Diane drove a U-Haul through my gate. Elise stormed the barn with a sledgehammer, shattering the door, denting my tractor. I pummeled the state trooper. Panic button. Sirens blared in trooper's fire truck and a news truck. Felony trespassing, destruction, assault. The trooper explained Elise was handcuffed. Diane screamed about eco-homes. The story burst into flames. HOA leader daughter arrested in ranch rampage. The HOA removed Diane. A protective order kept her and Elise away from me. Elise pleaded guilty to felony charges. Fined extensively, Diane disappeared. Neighbors rebuilt my gate. Sarah's last story, the ranch that stood tall, broadcast nationally. The county validated my ownership, immune to HOA forevermore. I wrote the letter above my new baby's fireplace. Ranger became a meme. Not today, Diane. I did not save my land. I found a tyrant. Willow Creek was mine and no one could take. Chat replay is turned off for this premiere.